I was nervous. All right. I feel better now. So yeah, if I just came out here and been like, hello, my name's Seth and I'm an artist, that would be like an AA meeting, right? It's just kind of like that. So I do have a secret plan behind what is here today, but first of all, I'm just so stoked to see a lot of Kaua'i's artists in one room. There's a lot more that are out there, but they're gonna get proposals and packets and stuff too, hopefully. But what I got is a presentation for a concept that I've been working on for like 10 years now. And with the help of a lot of friends and you guys, I've been able to put together a mural festival for Kaua'i. Now, there's a lot of mural festivals popping up all over the place. So I kind of wanted to create one that was really unique and based on what we have here as a resource, which I think ties in really importantly to Kaua'i specifically, because we import a lot of stuff we don't need. I'm not saying we don't need other artists to come here, but what I'm saying is we got a lot of good artists that are already here. We also have a lot of great small businesses. We have a lot of great agriculture, a lot of great culture, all kinds of things. So I really created this event to promote Kaua'i, to promote you guys, to promote the small businesses and the great community that we've got here. So let me open this up. And I know you guys have got a lot of questions, so hopefully the idea here is I'm going to answer that. I'm going to give you guys these proposal packets, and you're going to have a month to doodle and do some drawings. So no pressure, this is a fun thing. It's also a collaborative thing. In other words, it's not competitive really. Key note. All right. So October 18th to the 24th, we've got the week, it's happening. We've also got the walls. We've also got a couple sponsors already, like Can has already signed up as a sponsor, which is really awesome. Green Opihi has given us some money as well as some anonymous donors. So money's coming in and we want to pay you as artists to create. So Nirmāna, the word is a Sanskrit word. It means creation or transformation. This is an ancient language. It basically was the foundation of most spoken language as far as I understand it. So that was really kind of a cool thing. There's also a little bit of a play on words there with mana being in the middle of it. I feel like there's a lot of mana that's obviously here, but involved in the creation process. So what it's all about. There's going to be maps inside your proposal packets as well, but if you guys are familiar with Rice Street at all, that's the main street right there. Up at the top in the right corner is where the museum is. Umi Street is right where Rainbow Joe's is parked right now, and the Kibo Japanese restaurant. In this area up here, it's out. And then Iwalu Street. So this is a back road that goes back behind Rice Street, and there's a bunch of small businesses that are there, and that is where we're focusing this year's event. The reason is because we're piggybacking on the already beautification and development of that area. Now the hope is to expand this event to other communities in the future. So October 18th to the 24th, 15 artists are going to collaborate in groups of 3. So this is one thing that's very unique compared to other mural festivals, is that we're going to basically force you to work together. Some of you are probably already going, maybe? No? You're into it still? Haven't scared anybody yet? Okay, cool. So 3 team members, 5 walls. We got 15 artists. They're going to be selected by a committee. Now this committee is not participating in the mural proposal process. These are people like Carol Bennett, Carol Yatsudo, and a few others that we still have to nail down. But they're non-participating community leaders that are also creative people. I myself, I'm going to be submitting my own proposal. Even though creating the event, there's no pre-picked artist here, so I'm not any better than anyone else. Materials are going to be provided and the artists are going to be paid. I don't want to say exactly how much, but it's well. I will say that it's well. It's more than I usually get for a week of work, for sure. So why paint murals? This is where it gets a little bit fun. I'm probably preaching to the choir here a little bit, but they've been around since the beginning of time, basically like cave drawings. Throughout history, plain walls have been decorated with incredible visual stories that can completely change a space and the mood of the viewer. So this is pretty important. It's been a foundation of communication. It crosses all barriers. We have lots of plain walls that tend to need regular repainting, maintenance, all the above. Also, it falls under county jurisdiction and all these things. I am trying to break those stigmas down, and I need all of your help to do it. And it's not us all going out there individually and painting things guerrilla style. That's not helping, although it's really awesome. We need to work together to actually break the stigma. And the stigma is based on the fact that there's a common misconception of graffiti and tagging. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody tag on something where their name is going to get lost in whatever's already there. It's usually on a pretty plain, blank surface, right? They want a blank canvas, just like we do. But if you put a mural up there, they're not going to tag over that. Nobody's going to sign somebody else's artwork. It just doesn't happen. So this is a stigma that I'm working on breaking down. And as you go out into the world and start talking about this festival, you're going to get the naysayers. And this is the language that I've had to use. So like I said, I'm preaching to the choir. But this is the mentality that I've had to use, the tactic that I've had to use to get the walls that you guys are going to paint. I've had to tell them, look, it's a plain wall. We'll paint over it if you don't like it. We're going to do it for you for free. This is no expense to the business owners or the renters. So anyway, stigmas. Most of it's around graffiti. So if you let them know, hey, like graffiti artists, they don't sign other people's artwork. It just doesn't happen. All right. Who's eligible for this? This year's event is only for Kaua'i artists. Now this has been a really big challenge for me to actually put this down as a stipulation. And the reason is, like I mentioned before, is that Kaua'i has a lot of resources and we import way too much as far as food, you name it, fuel, everything. So while we could bring in famous artists and get them more attention for making really cool stuff here where we live, why not give that to you guys and let you guys work collaboratively to recognize each other, build each other up, teach each other stuff, rather than say, hey, look at me. You know, that's kind of the concept that I'm working with here. So it's available, it's eligible for any age. Now that's within reason. Obviously, you've got to be able to climb a ladder and not have your parents there holding your hand, things like that. I don't see anybody under 21, maybe 22 in here. Anyway, so yeah, even if you're considered senior or elderly, please, if you feel like you want to participate, I'd really like to see the mixed generations working on one wall, because that would be really cool. No skipping school. You will have to collaborate with other artists. So again, I hope I didn't look like I scared anybody away in the beginning there, but you'll be working together to finalize your designs in the next few months. So what's gonna happen basically is I'm gonna give you guys these proposal packets. You'll have a month. You've got 5 pictures in there of potential walls. You're gonna doodle, have some fun, be creative, imagine whatever you want to on those walls. There's really no stipulation at this point. You're gonna hand those in after a month. We're going to give that to the committee. They're going to review those and whittle you down to 15 artists, and that's going to be the hardest job. That's why I'm glad I'm not doing that. And then they're going to basically recall those 15 artists, have another meeting, and then divvy you up into teams and figure out where you're going to work best to suit each other's strengths and weaknesses, kind of thing. So it's almost like a reality show mural thing kind of going on. I don't know, maybe we'll sell it to Disney or something. All right, so yeah, in the next few months, after the 15 get selected, you will have to work then together to come up with a finalized design. Then that design is going to be looked at by the wall owner or renter because they need to approve it as well. So, you know, you're not going to be able to put any kind of logos or branding or anything like that, but there might be some stipulations that the wall owner puts on you, like perhaps within a certain color palette. You know, if they've got a theme throughout their business that's all greens, then we want to kind of help support that, without it being an advertisement for them. Does that make sense? So if they're a pie shop, for example, in Kaua'i, no pies on the side of it, it's a giant green, pink flower thing. You know, so and that was within the business's color scheme, so that was how that worked out. So how do you get picked? Your proposal packet's got to be filled out, make sure it's legible. There's not a whole lot of writing to do in there. There's kind of like, who am I, and why do I want to paint murals? It's pretty easy. Turn it in. Like I said, there's going to be 5 pictures in there. You guys can take digital shots of them and work on them digitally if you want to, or you can draw right on the black and white images. I suggest you make photocopies so that you know, you can do multiple if you want to. You can turn in as many renderings as you want. No problems there. Just have fun with it. That's really the most important. Submit your proposal. In the back of the packet It's got a mailing address, if you want to send it in by post. It's got digital address, you can send it in as a digital presentation, or you can hand it over to me, contact me, and we don't live that far apart, we'll figure it out. I'm in Hanape Bay. What happens if you don't get picked? This is a great question, because there's a lot of you, and I would like you all to be able to participate, or at least contribute in some way. So there's other options. I've got 2 other public walls that we're going to be doing. One is going to be for the Rice Street Block Party, and one is also for this NirMānā mural event, and they're community collaborative walls. So in other words, we're going to have a big wall somewhere in town, prominent, that probably says something like Lihue, or I love Rice Street, or something, or maybe it's just an image of Kaua'i that's broken up into puzzle pieces, and then what we're going to have is a station set up with artists that can help guide the public in making their own mark on this mural. So it'll be a massive community collaborative mural with guidance. Okay, so we want to pay those artists as well. It just won't be quite as much as the 15 that are selected. But we still want to have, we're probably going to need like up to 12 artists for that job, just to rotate so that they're not there all day, you know, like helping people, but you get to paint as well. It's not just helping others. So that's kind of cool. The other thing that I wanted to add is that if you showed up today, you're going to be submitted, you signed in, you're going to be submitted into, if you want, a new Kaua'i artist database. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. There's an organization out there called publicartist.org, and it's fantastic. They send you updates and emails whenever there's a public call for arts. And these are for big projects like hospitals, airports, mostly national big projects. So it's really cool. They notify artists if you're on their list. They let you know you can send in a proposal for this. So I want to create something like that exclusively for Kaua'i artists. So now you guys are already going to be submitted onto that database, where I'm going to be able to have people put up job bids on this website for Kaua'i creative people. And it's going to expand to chefs, musicians, movie makers, designers, fashion people. I mean, you name it, anything creative. That's how we want to expand this thing. I said that part first. Every artist that submits a proposal will also get a space in a gallery exhibition during that month of October. So for that whole month, I'm hoping to get a space. There's actually that vacant furniture studio that's right there in that area. I was really hoping to take that over for the month and do an exhibition there for resident artists. So even if you don't get picked, you guys are here today, I want you to have a spot to display your work and have a chance to talk about it and sell it. And there's more. Last little bit though. This festival was actually my evil plan, to get all you guys together in one room. And it was because I'm actually working on a program to create a mentorship program on Kaua'i. And what I needed to do was get you guys together to talk about the idea. And I know that you guys are all artists and you're trying to make your living as well. So this thing is going to be grant funded. And I want to have pockets of resident artists that are willing to spend, you know, like once a month or something like that with groups of kids from these high schools, teach them how to write a proposal, come up with their ideas, work on their design, and their design. I don't want to put any stipulations on them. It's not about no vaping or anything like that. They've got their own things that they're thinking about, and I want them to develop those ideas. So I want a group of artists, not volunteer artists, but paid artists, as a core group that will work with the high schools, and then possibly take those high school kids to the middle schools and the lower schools, and create a tiered system that will grow, and hopefully we'll end up with a lot of really nice public art. And again, that falls into breaking down that public stigma with all the county spaces and stuff like that. We can take the kids and then work on the parks, the bus stops, you name it. So that's where we're going with this, and that's what gives me the goosebumps. Mural painting's the easy part. I'm sure you guys, I don't know, maybe you agree, maybe no. It's the package deal for me. This is really pretty exciting. So it's the kickoff for the flagship mentor program. And this will show the county that we can create. So you guys are kind of the start of our mural army. Is that cool? I don't have really much else to say, but you might have some questions, right? Okay, so here's the walls. These are going to be in your packet. You might recognize some of them. Don't get too excited and don't get too hung up on picking one specific wall, because you might not get allocated that wall, and it might not be the design that you submit. So just have fun with these proposals, right? So this is a nice big one, just to give you an idea. There might be some lifts involved. Obviously this is 2 stories, and there's also structure that you want to kind of include and get creative with. You can use it, you can work around it. A nice big one. So the reason I wanted to show these two, and the reason I took pictures of them at weird angles, those two are not weird angles, but that one is because I want you to get creative with using the whole space. A lot of people have an idea in their mind, like a mural is a square space on a wall. No, take over the whole building. Yeah? Bend the corners, wrap it around. Yeah? All right, I don't think I have anything else to say. That only took about 15 minutes. It wasn't too bad. Do you guys have questions? Please hit me, because I know that there's been a lot. Hopefully I answered a bunch of them. Anything. Take your time. Put some music on. That's all I got. I know some of you guys came from a little ways away.
I'm thinking in terms of how the logistics of, say, you know, of the people that get picked, you know, and everybody's submitting their designs. So would there be a kind of a marriage of different designs, or how, like, and how, who's going to be kind of
figuring that out?
Teams?
Great question. Hold on a second. Let me finish this one, or answer this question as best I can. So that committee will basically, the criteria that they will be deciding on is just going to be based on what you show them as far as creative thought as to what you would put on these walls. It's not really like we're going to pick a design out of what you submit. But it might be like, wow, this person has this cool style and this person has this cool style. Maybe they'll want to work together. Maybe not. We're not going to force that on anybody. I say we, but I'm not part of that committee. I'm going to be submitting a proposal too, so I got to be unbiased here. Once those 15 core artists are selected, there will be stipulations in place by the wall owners and renters that I don't want to put out there yet because things are still kind of shifting around right now. So I just want you to have fun with these proposals. Once we have those 15 core artists picked, then we'll be able to say, these are the 5 walls, and these are the stipulations for each wall. So this color code for this one, or for example, actually one of them kind of wanted to have a year of the rat sort of a theme. So if that appeals to you, maybe you want to shift towards that kind of a thing. That's a hint that I maybe shouldn't have given you because I didn't want to put any ideas in your head. But yeah.
Who is on the committee that selects the victim artist?
So far, Carol Bennett and Carol Yatsudo, and we're still working on that. So you guys have a month to work on these proposals. We all do, and there will be more. There will be at least 3 community members that are artists as well.
Part 2, are there like specific parameters that we have to stay within our concepts?
Not for this proposal process. For the second round, once it gets selected down to 15 core artists.
So like profanity, nudity, self-targeting?
Well, if you want to get selected, probably not.
I mean, that's what I'm asking.
Fair question, but I mean,
I'm just asking.
no, that's okay. That's a legitimate question. If you want to put those things, maybe Carol Yatsudo will be like, wow, that's the best penis I've ever seen. And really want it on a big thing. I don't know, no. So it's the same thing with the all ages. Obviously, 3-year-olds aren't going to be working on it. So, you know, have fun with these proposals. When it gets to the second round, when you guys are down to the 15 artists, then you will be given the stipulations for each wall. And as a group of 3, you will get together, however it is for you to get together, and you'll work on your final design. Does that help? Yeah? Let me bounce back over here, and then I'll get back over to you.
Answer my question.
Okay, sweet.
Well, I was just thinking, it sounds a little bit like you're trying to create a community, so maybe we can like introduce ourselves with something and just kind of know I don't know anybody, and I'm an artist here, I'm sure there's plenty of talent and people that came here for a reason, that's in the agenda.
Huge. For this part of the process, I want everybody to submit individual proposals rather than pick teams now. Because if you end up...
I was
Is
just
that what you
talking
meant?
about right now because it's...
Yeah, please, network. Oh my God. Is that what you mean? I wanted to get you guys together because I wanted to meet you selfishly, but I also wanted you guys to meet each other as well. There are incredibly talented people here. Yes?
I was wondering, how do you submit the stuff, like, with the packet?
I'll pass them out right now.
Yeah, how do you submit it?
This is Joe, everybody. She's helping me video.
Thank you, Joe.
And Michelle. So this is to help answer your questions. Sorry, I didn't want to give these out while I was talking because I wanted you to listen. So in there, right before you get to the pages where there's the black and white photos of the buildings, you'll see that there's 3 options for turning in the proposal. You can mail it to my P.O. box, or you can take digital photos and create a digital presentation and email it to me. Or you can call me, contact me, email me, text me, wave to me, and hand it to me in person. So those are the 3 ways that you can get the proposal back to me. Was there another question? Dave? Yeah.
When would that start and how is that kind of gonna form?
I don't know. Immediate answer, I don't have 100% idea because I had to create this to create that. There was no way that I could collect all of you guys together without saying, hey, we're gonna put together this event for you, so I'm sorry, I tricked you a little bit. But it's because I think that there's a lot of value in this room and in the creative community here, and there isn't any of that really in the school system here for our youth.
So,
Yeah.
well, what I guess maybe I would suggest that you maybe, talk to these our teachers.
Yes.
At all of the schools.
Yes.
And I know there are students that are already interested.
Totally.
And even our designers.
Yeah.
And, that being, and then pairing artists that actually do want to build their kids,
Yeah. So along the lines of what Kaylin is saying is there are so many factions on this island that are working towards really good things independently. So that's why I tried to pull you guys together so that you guys can pull on all of your resources that are around you and keep that circle kind of expanding, There are so many people that aren't here today that I know want to be, and there are a lot of people that don't live here that wanted to be here today, and it was one of the more challenging things that I had to go through over the last 2 weeks was telling people they couldn't participate because they weren't residents. I lived there 3 months out of every year for the last 20 years, people. I've got family there were all kinds of things. So it was tricky, it was really hard, and I had to try to figure out gracious ways to tell them they couldn't participate, but it's because we're really focusing on a community thing here. So the mentorship program is in building process. I had to put a lot of focus into this so far this year, and that's where I'm going next. Any ideas that you guys have towards that, please talk to me.
I don't know if this is already something you mentioned, but I've heard that the state of Hawaii is the only state in the entire nation. They take about 1% of state funds and put it towards art. And that's the art that has to do with either culture or culture style of Hawaii, something like that. But it's the only state in the entire nation that does that. So is that something that you're tapping into?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. There are unallocated funds towards creative projects all over the place. We have a man here in the room. Terry, do you want to say anything?
I know a little bit about that.
Terry's an exceptional resource in the
I'm
community.
not an artist, but I'm a musician.
He's a musician. He is too an artist. Don't
But
let
I
him
used
trick
to work at the Hawaii Arts Alliance in Honolulu, and so we have
Did you ever
very
get
close
one?
relationship with the State Foundation of Culture and the Arts. So there's a percent for the arts, new construction in Honolulu, 1% has to go for the arts, but it's public art, and it has to be state public art. So tapping into that would be hard, but Seth is a very good fundraising. I'm going to do.
It's easier when it involves kids.
Raise funds. The arts
Education.
education component, I'd like to talk to anyone who's interested in that because that's something that funders really would like to see, particularly the mentorship aspect. And Seth has talked about perhaps having a youth advisory committee in the planning of it. These are things that really resonate with funders.
Yeah.
More than the State Foundation doesn't have funds that are accessible.
Yeah. I want these kids to create their own committees essentially, and we just have our team of mentor artists that guide them. Yeah. Cool.
What's the festival, the plans for the festival going to be like?
Okay, so the whole week?
Yeah.
Good question. So during that week, we want to be able to allocate times for you guys to be able to do guest artist talks about your work if you want to. I'm not going to make anybody do that doesn't want to. Obviously, I host open mic nights and I play in a band, and I was still nervous as hell to get up here and talk to you guys. And mostly friendly faces here. Some of you can still work on it. But so for that week, We're gonna have artist talks. The grand finale is obviously the end, kind of that Saturday when it's sort of the unveiling street party. We're gonna have bands and music, food, giveaways, sponsors, booths, things like that that are gonna give away things. That week, the fun is kind of be people coming through and watching the progress. There's not gonna be, because actually somebody called me out on that, my wife actually, she said, it's not really a festival. It's like, what, I need a Ferris wheel? Like, cotton candy, what? So, the festival is that it's taking a week, and that mural painting's typically not a spectator sport. It's like watching grass grow, but actually when 3 people are working on a wall, especially an odd one, it's gonna move along pretty quick. So it'd be kind of cool to watch, especially the progress. People might check in every day. I actually included in the proposal, like, that one of the requirements is to be friendly. Because you're gonna get people coming and watching you and talking to you and saying things, and the other part of that is also don't forget to put on your mask and be like, thanks, I gotta work. And that's okay too. It's gonna happen.
Seth, she mentioned, what are the opportunities for everyone to know each other in this room? Do you have an email list, or will they post a list on a website, or introductions?
Great question. I do have this list, so, sorry?
She wants to do it now.
My thing is, you're finishing at 5, I think my only way to know each other, somebody says their name.
Would everybody like to turn around and shake hands with somebody right now in the church? It's nice to see, I can see a lot of you guys already do know each other, but I would personally like to get to know each one of you, so I'm gonna stick around until 5, let's talk, I'll put on some more music. I didn't bring donuts, I'm sorry, I'm personally a pizza kind of person.
There's a little marketing stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? How do we get people's attention?
So I was testing out Joe here and her partner Michelle to see if we could create a media team, and I actually did just get the first big donation, aside from some sponsor contributions already. So I'm putting together a media team. So that core group of artists are all going to get interviewed and have little bios that are going to go on the website. There's going to be footage throughout the painting process as well, and then probably a presentation at the end, some kind of video. But build up to that, it's going to include that, as well as probably about 6 to 8 weeks before the event, probably going to have a fundraising event with maybe like a print signing and things like that as well. There's a few things to build up the momentum there. You picking all this up, Dennis? You taking notes? Okay. Make sure you promote the hell out of this. Good questions. There are more details in that packet. I didn't go into everything. I just wanted to keep this short, so I don't like talking. I like to create things. Anything in there I should make note of? Let's see. For artists that are picked, you guys are going to have to make mentions of sponsors and stuff in your social media posts. We can't police you on that, but it's a nice thing to do because they're helping pay you. Yeah.
For artists that are not here today, can they go to the website and download this project?
Okay, great question. What I would like to do is send it to them personally. If I put it up online, then I get people from Idaho
So
to send
they
them in.
can email.
Yes. Or I've got a bunch of extra ones that I'd be happy to send them with you guys because I don't have anybody else to give them to personally. Yeah, so I've got extra ones. If you guys know people, there's a month to work on this thing. Please take some extra ones. I'd be really, really grateful if you did. Other requirements for the artists?
Is that?
Yeah.
I think I heard you mention that supplies are going to be provided.
Supplies are going to be provided. So this is the tricky part. I'm going to have to put in basically a big order for, I'm hoping to work on a thing with a spray can company. When I say that, I know a lot of you haven't worked with spray cans, and that's okay. So I'm also working on a sponsorship with a local house paint company, essentially, for roller and brush kind of stuff. And we can mix all those medias. Surfaces. This isn't just like pick a section on the wall and paint that part. It's going to be, like for example, this one. So you got all these brick ribs that come down that stick out from the wall like that far. So you can incorporate that, or you can ignore them, but it's not a collaborative mural with Trisynth back there last year. There's a giant octopus, and put the can word on the brain of the octopus there. It's next to restaurant, Kibo. But it's in that area, so you guys drive back there and check it out. Like I said, I did get probably about 30 to 40% of the people back there that I talked to said no, absolutely not. We like our clean water. And there was a collaborative mural with Tri-Snip back there last year. There's a giant octopus, and put the can word on the brain of the octopus there. It's next to restaurant Kibo. But it's in that area, so you guys drive back there and check it out. Like I said, I did get probably about 30 to 40% of the people back there that I talked to said no, absolutely not. We like our clean water. And there were
is probably going to be favorable. But yeah, you can submit it.
just along the lines of what you were saying, there's little walk trails that they're already developing. There's like 6 of them in the Kaua'i area, so when they finally open Rice Street, it's going to have all these walking loops, and that's going to become one of them. People are going to walk on that Rice Street. Check out. Yeah, Terry.
Anyone who's gotten by Rice Street, you know there's a lot of construction going on there. And Seth mentioned in May that there's the Rice Street Block Festival, and we're hoping that there'll be this mural stigma to overcome. But the project is tied into this Rice Street Business Association, which is tied into the county and the mayor, which is about to unveil this street project, which received U.S. Department of Transportation grant. So the businessman, the county, and the artists are all working together. Yeah.
Will the construction be done? Will the construction be done?
Yeah, May 30th is the day that the county says it will be completely done, so they can have a big block art.
May.
May 30th is when they say it.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this all together, Seth.
Yes.
I'm excited.